In the vast expanse of the galaxy, where stars burned like ancient lanterns and civilizations thrived on planets both lush and barren, there existed a species known only as the Deathworlders. They hailed from a planet so hostile that it defied comprehension. A place where acid rain scoured the surface, predatory creatures stalked every shadow, and gravity crushed all but the strongest into oblivion. For centuries, their existence was whispered about in hushed tones across spaceports and council chambers alike. The Deathworlders were survivors, warriors forged by an environment that made other worlds seem tame by comparison. But they weren't conquerors, at least not initially. For generations, the Deathworlders had played what they called the game. It was simple. When another species sought to invade or colonize their homeworld, the Deathworlders would let them land, unopposed. No orbital defenses, no preemptive strikes, just silence. Once the invaders set foot on their soil, however, the game began. The Deathworlders would hunt them down with ruthless efficiency, using nothing but their bare hands, crude weapons, and an unparalleled understanding of their lethal terrain. Survivors, if there were any, were allowed to leave, bearing tales of terror that spread far and wide. This ritual earned them a reputation as honorable, if terrifying, adversaries. Many species respected the rules of the game, even as they mourned their losses. Others avoided the death world entirely, steering clear of its orbit like sailors avoiding a cursed sea. But over time, something shifted. Greed took root, and whispers began to circulate among the more ambitious factions of the galaxy. What if we could take them? What if we didn't play fair? The day everything changed started innocuously enough. A coalition fleet comprised of 3 major galactic powers descended upon the Death World under the guise of diplomacy. Their ships bristled with advanced weaponry, their leaders clad in uniforms adorned with medals earned through conquest. Captain Vera Kyle, a decorated strategist from the Dominion of Stars, stood at the helm of the flagship Ecliptica. She was calm, confident, her sharp features illuminated by holographic displays showing the swirling storms of the Death World below. "We've analyzed their tactics," she said to her assembled officers, her voice steady and cold. "They rely on psychological warfare and environmental manipulation. But this time, we won't give them the chance." Her plan was audacious, bordering on sacrilegious. Instead of landing troops as per tradition, the coalition intended to bombard the planet from orbit, leveling entire regions before sending ground forces. To many, this violated the unspoken code of the game. But to Kale and her allies, survival outweighed honor. As the first salvo of plasma torpedoes rained down on the Death World's surface, the crew of the Ecliptica watched with grim satisfaction. Cities crumbled, forests ignited, and rivers boiled away under the onslaught. Yet amidst the chaos, something unexpected happened. The storms stopped. Across the bridge, alarms blared as sensors detected an anomaly. The planet's atmosphere, once a maelstrom of toxic gases and hurricane-force winds, had gone eerily still. Then came the transmission. A single voice, deep and resonant, speaking in flawless galactic standard. "You have broken the rules." Kyle froze. The voice wasn't angry, it was matter-of-fact, almost weary. Before she could respond, the screen flickered to life, revealing a figure cloaked in shadows. Its eyes glowed faintly, twin embers burning with an intensity that made even hardened soldiers uneasy. "You will regret this." On the surface, the Deathworlders mobilized. For centuries, they had adhered to the game, content to let outsiders underestimate them. But now, faced with an enemy that refused to fight on equal terms, they abandoned restraint. From hidden bunkers buried miles beneath the crust, they unleashed weapons unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Devices that manipulated gravity itself, creating localized black holes that swallowed entire fleets. Swarms of biomechanical drones, each capable of dismantling starships piece by piece. And then there were the creatures, engineered monstrosities, bred specifically for war, their forms shifting and adapting to counter whatever threats they encountered. The coalition forces found themselves outmatched at every turn. Ground troops sent to secure key locations vanished without a trace, their last transmissions filled with screams and static. Starships attempting to retreat were torn apart by unseen forces, their wreckage raining down like meteors. Even attempts to negotiate peace were met with silence, or worse, cryptic messages warning of impending doom. Captain Kale soon realized her mistake. The Deathworlders hadn't been holding back out of fairness. They'd been biding their time, waiting for an excuse to reveal their true capabilities. Now, with the rules shattered, they showed no mercy. Weeks turned into months as the conflict escalated. Entire sectors of the galaxy fell under the shadow of the Deathworlders' wrath. Planets aligned with the coalition were devastated, their populations decimated by plagues engineered to target specific genetic markers. Trade routes collapsed as merchant vessels refused to venture near contested systems. Fear spread faster than any weapon, and soon the name Deathworlder became synonymous with annihilation. Yet amidst the carnage, legends began to emerge. Tales of lone pilots who survived encounters with biomechanical horrors, only to disappear shortly after. Stories of ghost fleets appearing in the void, their crews long dead but their ships still operational, drifting aimlessly until they reached inhabited systems. And always the same refrain. They remember. It wasn't just a threat, it was a promise. Decades later, when historians looked back on the war, they struggled to find meaning in the devastation. Some argued it was a cautionary tale about hubris, while others saw it as proof that some lines should never be crossed. But one thing remained undeniable. The Deathworlders had changed forever. No longer content to remain isolated, they expanded outward, claiming resource-rich worlds, and establishing outposts throughout the galaxy. Their methods were brutal yet efficient, leaving little room for resistance. Those who opposed them were obliterated, their stories added to the growing mythos of the Deathworlders. And yet, despite their fearsome reputation, they never forgot the lesson of that fateful day. Inscribed on monuments erected across their territory were words that served as both a warning and a reminder. Do not break the rules unless you are prepared to face the consequences. To this day, travelers passing through Deathworlder-controlled space whisper prayers and clutch talismans, hoping to avoid drawing their ire. For everyone knows the truth. The Deathworlders stopped playing fair, and they never looked back.